Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another malicious compliance Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and help me hit my goal of 10,000 subscribers. In our first story, you want the work done exactly to your specifications? Okay, but don't come crying to me when things fall apart. Let's jump right in. I've been a long time lurker on this sub, but for once I actually have something worthy enough to post about. Some background before we start. I worked as a drone pilot, mine surveyor for a man-child, using drones to take pictures of the mines, creating a 3D model out of those pictures, and then calculating all sorts of goodies for the clients, like their gold yield and the amount of stuff they have to move, etc. It's really technical and can easily go completely to crap if you don't know what you're doing. And even if you do know what you're doing, it can still very easily go to complete crap. I'm licensed and certified. I've been playing the game for a long time now, and I know how it works most of the time. My ex-boss, on the other hand, didn't. See, he got his surveyor's license during the 80s by complete chance. He was a simple miner who just happened to be in the right place at the right time, getting a free university scholarship to become a surveyor because they had a few grants left over and called out who wanted it. His hand was one of the ones they picked. The second he got his license, he quit his job and convinced an old retiree surveyor to throw in his retirement, all cards on the table, to start up their own surveying business. He spent the entire time at the golf course and the bar, making a fat amount of cash out of his newly founded self-milking cash cow. Not once did he carry out an actual survey. Hell, I doubt he's even stepped foot on a mine since then. He just invoiced the clients, told the retiree where to go, and collected a paycheck. So time moves on, work slowly filters in, and as one sometimes does when they reach the ripe old age of 80, the retiree kicks the bucket. My boss's cash cow just died on him. The only other employee was this other guy who acted as his assistant and basically just carried heavy stuff for him. He didn't have a backup. So of course, he hired me. I was pretty fresh into the game at the time, starving and basically homeless, and in my eyes, this guardian angel just descended from the heavens and offered me a way out that doesn't involve an ungodly amount of Xanax and a short rope. He basically told me that we have to survey X site and get the data to X client. Didn't tell me how, didn't tell me what data exactly they want, hell, he didn't even tell me when they needed it by. He just pointed to the place on Google, told me to go there and get it done. Somehow, I flipping did it. By the skin of my teeth, I scraped by and eventually figured out just what to do. At some point, we were kicked off of the mine for reasons that my boss didn't disclose to me, and so we had to open up our own offices. The boss graciously dug deep into his pockets, kicked out his eldest son, and dedicated that room in his house to our use. Now I was spending every day with the man, since if he wasn't at the golf course, he was at home. We started butting heads. He had this illusion in his head of how things work and how you're supposed to do things, and I had practical experience and qualifications to tell me otherwise. Every single day was a fight, and every single day he'd tell me how he wanted it to be done, and I'd just turn around and do it the way it's meant to be done. I started passing out my CV like beers at a frat party. My timing was perfect though, cause a little blip and crash of the 2020 job economy happened right as I started searching. The interviews I had lined up all got cancelled. The people who I already interviewed with and who seemed ecstatic to have me suddenly didn't answer my calls. I felt like a scorned lover waiting on the curb in the rain. I was considering maybe going back to IT, or better yet, living a life on the street. I felt hopeless and dejected, doomed to a life of taking care of a disgusting man-child and his fat wallet. Eventually, though, a second angel descended from the heavens, once again saving me from that seductive little noose. I checked her wings for wires, and she checked out. Finally, I could leave this place. I was waiting on the contract, not really willing to commit to anything without it being in writing, when my boss and I got into another massive screaming fight. After hour 3, something inside me snapped. You want it done your way? Fine. I'll do it your way. I committed hard to following his procedure every step of the way. Surveys were taking 3 times longer to do. The drone crashed 4 times, my first ever crash, and all of them were near write-offs. The 3D models stopped looking like mines and started resembling potato chips and Twizzlers. He had clients calling him day and night, non-stop, asking him just what the flip is he doing. Eventually, he gave my number to them so they could call me directly, and then I started getting calls day and night, non-stop, until I just turned off my phone outside of office hours. Clients were threatening to drop the contracts. Clients were threatening to sue. My contract came in from my new company and I signed the dotted line with a smile on my face. One client stopped calling and stopped paying. Word got out, as it always does, that his company is just some rednecked hoo-ha being run out of someone's home. Another client canceled the contract completely and threatened legal action. I handed in my resignation. My boss looked at me pleadingly, offering me a flip ton of cash to stay. If drinking could make you feel even half as good as I felt then, sign me up. I told him to get flipped. He begged me to write him a manual on how to do the work, to show him how to process the data, to fly the pits, to set up the instruments. I spent the last 2 weeks there writing out every procedure he ever told me I needed to follow, sent it through to him, and walked away. A few weeks later, when he was scheduled to do a survey, I was suddenly spammed with calls and emails and messages from him asking me how to do this or how to fly that or where to find this data. His manual wasn't working. Surprise, surprise. I don't know, just read the manual. My new company is currently picking up all the contracts he's dropped. If we manage to get the last one, I'm gonna ask them for a bonus. In story 2, you will only be served by the attractive barmaid? Okay, no problem. My friend told me this story and it was just too good not to share. So the town we live in has lots of good old-fashioned British pubs, and one that is a pub during the week and then turns into sort of a club at the weekends. Since it's the only place open past 12 or 1 a.m., it tends to attract a lot of drunk buttheads. My friend was working one night with 2 other bar staff, one other guy and a girl who I've been told was pretty attractive. It was about 11:55 p.m. and a guy walks up to the bar. My friend wasn't serving anyone at the time and goes to take his order. "No thanks, mate, I'll wait for her." My friend tried to explain that she was serving customers at the other end of the bar and that he would be the one to take his order. "No, I am only getting served by her, no one else." "Sure, mate, no problem." My friend then waits for his colleague to finish serving her existing customer. By the time she's done, it's around 11:57. So my friend turns to her and says, "Hey, you've only got 3 minutes left on your shift, so you might as well leave now. We've got it covered." So she leaves. My friend and the other guy working both refuse to serve him for the rest of the night, as per his request. In story 3, when a manager says not to do a task because it isn't important, they get their way, but that kind of thing can come back at you. I used to work at a car factory as a process engineer. I basically was in charge of an entire production line of a specific part of the body. This went from designing the layout, setting up machinery, to writing down the specific instructions for each post. Fun job, lots of things to do. But as at every big company, each department was in a constant fight against another. Production against engineering, health and safety against production, maintenance against everybody, you know. Anywho, as I said, I had to prepare instructions for each post, a detailed document where the precise tasks of each worker was thoroughly described to guarantee a standard process. This was not fun to do, and we usually ignored it since we wouldn't use it. The workers that belonged to the production department would. I was completing the standard process documents for my line, since they were important for production, but my boss told me not to waste my time on that since there were more pressing issues. Sure thing, boss. What we didn't know was that my boss would be transferred to production a couple of months later and basically became my internal client. Of course, he asked where the process standards were since he needed them now that he was in charge of production in my line. I told him, "My boss told me not to do them." He looked puzzled. "But I need them." "I know, but my boss specifically told me not to do them." Blank face. "Dude, you told me not to do them." Okay, please, just get them done. We need them." Fun times. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.